Hello, you Global Flows junkies. This is Patrick Brady, and I'm so glad that you joined us today. I've been very busy in spring break, and we have an upcoming show in High Point, North Carolina, to show off our outdoor furniture and some new indoor furniture. So bear with me. Sorry it's been a while, but I really appreciate your commitment to watching us or at least checking us out on the newsletter. All right, Global Flows. We talk about the flows of money, people, goods, supply chain. And today we have a couple of interesting stories. I usually gravitate towards China stories because that's what my background is in. A lot of you know me as having to spend about 12 years in China. So here we go. Here are a couple interesting articles for us to look at. The first article here is from Business Insider about lonely men with no flows. Rural men in China say to afford the massive dowries. And in US and Western countries, the woman and her family provide the wedding. And in China, it's always the guy. So the guy and his family, they set the wedding, they pay for the wedding, they plan the wedding, etc. So betrothal prices stirs controversies. So I think a lot of, especially countryside rural men complaining on social media about the amount of money they've got to put forward. And, really, if you look at their salaries, it's probably a big portion of their salaries. And they're being chastised by the masses for being so stingy, maybe. Very interesting. Just one more, I'll just highlight this. We've talked about this many times. One more hurdle to China, people getting married, having kids in a very expensive society. I mean, we're all experiencing that, right? Major inflation, the price of an egg. So this is happening all over the world where it's, really expensive to have children. And this is just one more domino in the chain of more difficult to have a wedding, get married, have kids. It's almost like the cards are stacked against, really flourishing in demographics and in birth rates. The next article is about TikTok and the potential divestiture of TikTok. ByteDance is the Chinese parent company of TikTok. They face scrutiny and potential bans in the US due to security concerns. We all know that ByteDance being a Chinese company and the Communist Party really made into law that they can have access to any company's information. So can they guide narrative to what our young people are seeing and thinking about? I don't know. How does this play out for First Amendment and freedom of speech? I don't know. I've heard arguments on both sides, and I see the free speech people saying that let us see some proof that the Chinese government's actually influencing our kids, and how would we ever get proof? And then, the kind of ban side or the divestiture side, both sides make sense, and we'll see how that plays out. Congress or the House voted overwhelmingly to restrict ByteDance's access to the U.S. market. So, of course, the Chinese government opposes the forced sale of TikTok, reflecting tensions between Beijing's control over its tech sector and the U.S. security concerns. What do you think? Please reply back, whatever you think. I'd love to hear what you think about this topic. I think it's crazy. I think Donald Trump was hardcore against it when he was president, and then he's coming out on the side of, well, wait a minute, not too fast. And maybe there's speculation he really doesn't like Facebook and Instagram, and they're the only competitors of significance. And even Vivek Ramaswamy said, definitely anti-TikTok in the US, and then he came back on the other side of it. So it's an interesting thing. What other topic do Democrats and Republicans kind of join in on one side or the other? We'll see how it plays out. Next article is about this one's from the BBC, about China. I think the US and UK have been accusing China of cyber hacks and conducting state-backed cyber espionage. The UK announced sanctions against 2 Chinese nationals and a company, Wuhan Xiaorui Sure, science and technology. You have to take my word for that pronunciation. China's foreign ministry spokesperson Li Jiang denied the allegations, criticizing the adequacy of events. And we'll see how that plays out. But certainly, with all of everything going to tech being such a big part of economies around the world and the movement towards AI, there's going to be a lot of, well, let's just say the cybersecurity industry is going to be safe. We'll say that. Football money flows. This is an article about the China former football chief sentenced to life for bribery. A couple interesting things here. The foreign president of the Chinese Football Association has been sentenced to life imprisonment for accepting bribes totaling 81 million yuan, $11 million during his tenure. That's a lot of money. What do you think? Broader anti-corruption campaign in China. President Xi Jinping looking at various sectors, including sports, banking, and the military. The corruption of football has seen other high-profile figures, including coaches and players, being investigated and sentenced for similar offenses. So, all I can say about that is this. When I lived in China, one of the years that they had the Olympics was in Korea and Japan. And China actually had a team that they sent to the World Cup. And since then, the men's soccer teams or football teams have been a disaster. So it's always been speculated that there's a lot of corruption behind the scenes. And it would seem that to be true. It would also seem to be true in China, as maybe other places as well, that, everyone's got a little bit of a rap sheet and people around them know some things that they did that's on their sheet. And so when they fall out of favor with the people upstairs, there's always a little something. Graft is so prevalent in China that someone always got something on someone. Okay, that's the end. This is Easter week, everybody. Hope you have a great Easter week and whatever you like to do. The weather's beautiful here in Austin. I hope that you and your families have an amazing week and weekend, and I appreciate you